What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming crossovers in Modern Warfare 3, some unexpected teasers, plus some canceled content. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a reminder, there's plenty of brand new covers that's going up over on detonated.com for those out there like myself who prefer articles over videos, and plenty of tweets every single hour on Detonated's Twitter. Now today is 115 day, and as I said in yesterday's video, I was very doubtful that Cherrick would do much for this year's iteration of that event. In recent years, they've done things like reveal unsolved Easter eggs and tease future content, but as of today, it seems like Call of Duty went ahead and released a Mr. Peaks plushie in the Call of Duty online shop, and it does cost about 20 bucks, not too bad at all, but kind of reminds me of the fact that the Mr. Peaks Easter egg in Warzone still remains unsolved. I think dozens and dozens more spawns got discovered for that rabbit on Urzikstan, and people have yet to figure out how to actually crack that quest and unlock that hidden calling card that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys posted on any developments for that Easter egg, but still better than nothing when it comes to 115 day. We still are getting at least one update with Season 1 Reloaded. Now, as you guys are probably aware, the mid-Season 1 update is on January 17th, and we do have a licensed collaboration happening with Reloaded, which is for The Boys. Now, we got a Boys collaboration last year for MW3 Season 4 Reloaded, and this year we're getting some actual love for multiplayer since the event we got for MW2 last year just provided an LTM for Warzone and a bunch of camel challenges on top of the 3 Boys-themed operator bundles. This year we're getting 2 operator bundles, a mode for multiplayer, and even a challenge event. Now, the challenge event is called Soup Siege, but what's really funny is that a couple of weeks ago, the event itself did leak out via data miners on Twitter, and they went ahead and revealed that the event was initially called The Boys versus the 7, which I know I chuckled at on the podcast recently because I'm like, wait a second, which operators in Call of Duty right now represent The Boys? I mean, we have a bunch of people from the 7, Homelander, Black Noir, initially Starlight, I know she switched sides in the TV show, and now we're getting A-Train and Firecracker, so I'm like, how could you have an event called The Boys versus the 7 when we don't have Billy Butcher, Huey, or anyone else from The Boys? Well, what's interesting is that some challenges did leak out for one side of that original event, and the side for The Boys seems to have been scrapped. Now, it's totally possible that they'll either bring The Boys back as another collab in the future, totally plausible, and that's what these challenges are for, or this was a part of a scrapped version of the event for MW3, which we're no longer going to see. Now, another game out there actually just collabed with The Boys as well, and they're actually adding in Billy Butcher and Soldier Boy, so I'm curious if at one point in time Call of Duty was going to do the same thing and had an event called The Boys versus the 7, but had to change those plans at the last minute since they weren't able to add in any operators from The Boys. I'm curious if that's what ended up happening, but there's an article on detonated.com which contains the original set of challenges for the event. Keep that in mind in the case that The Boys either collabs again with Call of Duty, or for those out there that just want to know what would have been the original collab event for MW3 Season 1. Now, there's also an emblem that's been talked about for quite a while over the last couple of months, and that's this one in particular, which a lot of us out there speculated to be a part of the Vortex event, which is still currently live in MW3 until this Wednesday, and it's an emblem that really gives us vibes of Scorpion. Now, I wouldn't rule out a Mortal Kombat crossover, although nothing else has leaked or even teased that could suggest one is happening. I wouldn't rule this out. It looks very similar to Scorpion. You can even see his chain there, and if it's not a part of a Mortal Kombat collab, then this could be a situation that I still find very funny to this day, which is the fact that during Vanguard's life cycle, there were 2 calling cards discovered which heavily reference Captain America and Indiana Jones, and that was quote-unquote leaked out to be an American Heroes event, even though it wasn't. But hey, I mean, the calling cards clearly were doing a little callback to those iconic characters, so that could be what this is, but isn't necessarily tied to an actual collaboration with the Mortal Kombat series. I mean, hey, Mortal Kombat 1 just came out not too long ago, and I'm sure NetherRealm is working on some other games in the Mortal Kombat universe, but hey, Mortal Kombat does crossovers all the time, and so does Call of Duty, so why not do one for Modern Warfare 3? I think that would be pretty cool if you get, let's say, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, or Raiden added into operator packs. That would be pretty cool, but again, it's one of those collabs that is just similar to John Wick, which has been heavily requested by a lot of hardcore players, but there isn't much to suggest that one is ever going to happen. Now, the next one we have is actually looking more and more likely by the day, and that's Godzilla x Kong. During Vanguard's life cycle, we got one of the coolest collaborations of all time with Godzilla vs. Kong, and obviously that event was primarily for Caldera. We didn't really see much added into Vanguard, but for Caldera, we got a cool LTM for Operation Monarch. We had Godzilla and Kong walking around the island. They didn't fight each other, which was a bit upsetting, but they still were able to damage players, and you were able to damage them for, I believe, some XP that went towards towards the event. And there was, of course, 3 operator bundles as a part of that event as well, and they were more like cosplay skins for Godzilla, King Kong, and even Mechazilla. Really cool blueprints, really cool items got added into the shop, but there is a particular finishing move from that Vanguard Kong bundle, which has been discovered again in Modern Warfare 3's files. It's totally possible that it's left over and isn't going to re-release, but people out there posted the leaked footage of this finisher and actually added Sledgehammer on Twitter asking for them to either re-release some Godzilla Kong content or to do another collab with the upcoming movie. And Sledgehammer actually went ahead and teased a little bit that something might be happening, right? They posted the eye emoji, if I'm not mistaken, to that finishing move. So I'm really curious if, because of the new Empire movie coming out in the next couple of months, could we be seeing another collab with Godzilla and King Kong? I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it, since I'm actually a big fan of the new monster universe, and the movie itself comes out in April, which is right around the time, I believe, when Season 3 would be happening for Call of Duty, so it would actually work if they went ahead and did that. Now, there is a cool follow-up reply to the footage of that leaked finisher, in which 4Leaks goes ahead and suggests that this could even be a collab for Invincible, since that exact move that you see in the finisher has also been done in the Invincible TV series, which is available on Amazon Prime. Now, hey, Call of Duty seems to have a good relationship with Amazon Prime, considering that they've crossed over with The Boys, so maybe this is actually for Invincible, and they just kind of reused a lot of the finisher from that original King Kong bundle, and it's not going to be for Godzilla x Kong, but instead another popular show, which I think gets more popular by the month, which is Invincible. And I actually haven't fully finished watching that show yet, but I believe that's on par with The Boys in terms of just the crazy fan base it's created on the internet. People love it, so I think if they cross over with Call of Duty, it would still work, because they've already crossed over with other heroes, or quote-unquote heroes, I could say, but people in costumes, so I don't think Invincible is fully out of the question for MW3. Now, lastly, we have The Walking Dead, and this is one that I believe leaked out with some pretty solid evidence a good while ago. And first off, Rick and Michonne operators, right? They got completely data mined. Now, we can't actually see what the operators look like, but leakers did find their exact names in the game's files. This is a crossover that I want to say has been a decade in the making, right? People have been asking for this since, what, Black Ops 2 2012, which is shortly after the Walking Dead series premiered over on AMC. Apart from those operators, I know leakers have also suggested that apparently somebody out there has heard or seen evidence that Andrew Lincoln is voicing Rick Grimes for Call of Duty. That's going to be a dream come true, and I can't even imagine what cool skins we'll end up seeing for Rick and Michonne. In a perfect world, though, it would be cool if there was an in-game challenge event to unlock free skins for those characters, then have alternative looks added via the bundle shop, but we don't live in a perfect world, right? It's not all sunshines and rainbows, so I'm sure there's going to be 2400 operator packs or more. And then references were discovered for a sword and a bow. Now, the sword is clearly going to be for Michonne. I mean, the timing just makes perfect sense to release all that content at the same time. We'll probably see a base sword added via an unlock challenge, then a variant of the sword in the Michonne operator pack. And then for the bow, that's been used in The Walking Dead before. We already have a crossbow in the game, but I'm sure a different type of bow, like the one you see in Black Ops with the Sparrow, that one's going to be added in. And yeah, I'm sure people out there would love to see some type of bow for Daryl if they added a Daryl Dixon operator bundle. But that's the thing, right? It's very possible now that Call of Duty could collab with a certain property more than once in less than a year and a half. We just saw that with The Boys, might see it again with Godzilla and Kong, so wouldn't be opposed to seeing a second Walking Dead crossover in the future that adds in Daryl or another popular character. I mean, then again, like I mentioned in another video before, I think in terms of what should carry forward to Black Ops 2024, I wouldn't say anything should when it comes to any weapons or operators, but what about at least your crossover licensed content? Because everyone's going to want to play as Rick Grimes in some future round-based maps that we're not going to see until Treyarch's next title. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on information we have right now about all upcoming crossovers in Modern Warfare 3? Again, as of right now, the Walking Dead collab is very likely for Season 2, since that's also when that TV show does premiere. The Godzilla one maybe for Season 3 if they want to line up with the release of that movie, if that's even happening. And then, of course, we're going to have other collabs, and probably even one per season moving forward, since Call of Duty seems to be on that tradition now. But really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.